The ancient seas of Asia held nightmares long before sailors in the West whispered about Kraken or Leviathan. In Vietnam's rivers, people feared a creature that slept beneath mud, roots, and water darkened by storms. In ancient China, rising floods were sometimes blamed on a hidden dragon moving through rivers and thunderclouds. Japanese fishermen feared another danger entirely: the restless dead returning silently aboard ships made of fog. Some monsters never revealed their bodies at all. Sailors saw only a barbed tail rising behind them. Farther north, an entire bay could turn crimson before enormous tentacles broke through the cold water. But the final creature appeared when the ocean was perfectly calm, and that silence made it even worse. 7 legends, 3 ancient traditions, and 1 shared fear. Something immense was always waiting beneath the surface. Our first story begins in the old rivers and flooded lowlands of Vietnam. Village elders warned that deep pools, hidden channels, and quiet bends belonged to powers older than any settlement. When boats vanished, the river sometimes returned only broken paddles, torn nets, and water that looked unnaturally still. Then the mud shifted, roots trembled, and something enormous opened its eyes beneath the boat. Thuồng Luong was imagined as serpent, dragon, and crocodile combined into one ancient ruler of the water. One sweep of its tail could lift a fishing boat and turn calm water into a violent wall. In many tales, its appearance was linked with monsoon rain, swollen rivers, and floods moving through entire valleys. Villagers used drums, fire, and ritual noise, hoping to warn the creature away from homes and boats. Perhaps crocodiles, giant snakes, or deadly floods inspired the legend. Yet none fully explains its enduring power. Beyond Vietnam, another water dragon was said to command rivers, storms, and the destructive force of flooding. Jiaolong was believed to live in rivers, lakes, marshes, and places where floodwater first began to rise. Before it appeared, fishermen watched the river darken, the current reverse, and thunderclouds descend over the mountains. Unlike the celestial dragons of later art, Jiaolong was often imagined without horns and closely tied to water. When it moved, rivers could break their banks and rush through fields, bridges, and unprotected villages. Some ancient communities believed protective markings or rituals could help them survive waters claimed by such creatures. Jiaolong was not purely evil. It could bring needed rain, yet the same water could destroy everything. That contradiction made it less like an animal and more like the living personality of rivers and storms. Some researchers have compared Jiaolong legends with crocodiles, but the stories always describe something far more powerful. No crocodile could twist through thunderclouds or make an entire valley feel as though the sky was turning. Beyond the rivers, an even greater being was said to carry islands across the open sea. Ao did not need to hunt sailors. Its terrifying quality was simply its impossible size. To a ship approaching through fog, the creature's shell could look exactly like an island covered in forests. One tradition imagined Ao carrying sacred islands where immortals lived among temples, mountains, waterfalls, and clouds. Even a small movement of its head or flipper could redirect waves and tilt ships without any attack. Sailors might camp on the shell, only realizing the truth when the island began to breathe beneath them. In creation stories, Ao's strength became connected not only with the ocean, but with the structure of heaven. Its immense body symbolized stability, while pillars raised from it were imagined supporting the repaired sky. Ao was not cruel, yet humans remained powerless before a creature large enough to carry landscapes. The next legend carried no islands at all. It carried the drowned back toward the living. Funayūrei were believed to be spirits of people who died at sea and never found peaceful passage. They appeared during storms, heavy fog, or nights when experienced fishermen believed no vessel should leave shore. At first, sailors might hear a quiet voice asking for a wooden ladle or container. Giving the spirits an ordinary ladle was dangerous because the trap began the moment they accepted it. The Funayūrei would scoop seawater endlessly and pour it into the boat until the vessel sank. One escape was to offer a bottomless ladle, making every scoop useless as water passed straight through. While the spirits struggled with the trick, the crew had only moments to raise sail and flee. Other accounts described phantom lights, ghost ships, spinning compasses, and coastlines that appeared where none existed. Fog, exhaustion, glowing plankton, and shipwrecks may explain parts of the story, but not its emotional force. At least Funayūrei gave a warning. The next predator approached without speaking, splashing, or revealing its body. Isonade was feared around western Japan, especially near dangerous coasts where weather and currents could change suddenly. Before it appeared, the sea changed color, wind seemed to rise from below, and boats became difficult to steer. Then a colossal crescent tail surfaced, covered with hooks, while the creature itself remained hidden. Isonade moved silently beneath vessels, more like a shadow than a living body cutting through water. Its hooked tail could sweep across the stern, catching ropes, nets, cargo, or anyone standing too close. By the time the crew understood the danger, the boat was already tilting and control was disappearing. Beneath the surface, imagination turned Isonade into a shark larger than any animal known to science. Some stories claimed its tail could sweep beaches, dragging away equipment and scattering people from the shoreline. Thresher sharks, rogue waves, and sudden storms may have contributed to the legend's unforgettable shape. But farther north, another being announced itself by turning an entire bay the color of blood. In Ainu tradition, Akkorokamui was feared as a vast power of the sea, yet also treated with respect. The first warning was not a roar. It was the water slowly changing into a deep crimson. Then one tentacle, larger than a fishing boat, rose from the bay with water pouring from its suckers. Akkorokamui was imagined as a red octopus spirit so enormous it could cover the entire coastline. A small vessel could disappear between its arms before the crew found enough space to turn around. Yet Akkorokamui was more than a monster. It was also understood as a powerful kamui of the sea. The same ocean could provide fish and survival one season, then destroy boats and families the next. Offerings and respectful behavior expressed an understanding that human life depended on powers beyond human control. When the bay changed color, the wisest choice was retreat, not bravery, pride, or curiosity. Yet the final creature needed no tentacles. Its silent presence alone could freeze an entire crew. Many Umibōzu stories begin on nights when the sea is so calm that sailors stop expecting danger. There is no wind, yet the water behind the vessel slowly rises like a black hill. A smooth, round head emerges, darker than the night and far taller than the ship's mast. Sailors called it Umibōzu, the sea monk, because its shape resembled a gigantic, bald figure. In some versions, the creature extends a hand and demands a barrel, bucket, or wooden ladle. Giving it a normal container can be fatal because Umibōzu uses it to flood the deck. A bottomless barrel may confuse the creature long enough for the crew to turn and escape. But other stories offer no riddle, no request, and no chance to outsmart what rises from below. One movement of its arm can bend a mast, tear a sail, or roll a vessel sideways. The calm ocean can become a storm within seconds, as though Umibōzu and the weather are one. Some traditions call it a yokai, others connect it with the spirits of people lost at sea. No one agrees on its true form, perhaps because those who met it rarely returned to explain. Real animals may have inspired parts of these stories: crocodiles, snakes, sharks, whales, turtles, and giant octopuses. Crocodiles and large river snakes may have helped shape the frightening forms of Thuồng Luong and Jiaolong. A real giant octopus, distorted by dark water and fear, could easily become Akkorokamui in memory. Whale tails, thresher sharks, and rogue waves may have merged into the hooked shadow called Isonade. Fog, waterspouts, waves, and distant islands could transform into ghost ships or the towering shape of Umibōzu. But every explanation leads back to the same truth. Deep water makes human beings feel small. Quick mythology quiz. Which creature was believed to carry islands upon its back? Thuồng Luồng, Ao, or Isonade? Choose your answer now. In a moment, we will reveal which ancient creature supported entire islands. The correct answer is Ao, the colossal sea turtle of Chinese mythology, imagined carrying sacred lands across the ocean. Of these 7 legends, which creature would you choose to face, and which would terrify you most? Leave your answer below, like the video, and subscribe to Dark Beyond for the next forgotten legend. Crocodiles and giant river snakes may have inspired Thuồng Luồng and Jiaolong, but legends transformed them into forces of nature. A giant Pacific octopus, distorted by dark water and fear, could easily become Akkorokamui in the memories of survivors. Whale tails, thresher sharks, and sudden rogue waves may have merged into the terrifying hooked silhouette known as Isonade. Fog, waterspouts, distant islands, and moonlight could make ordinary horizons resemble ghost ships or the towering Umibōzu. Yet natural explanations do not erase the deeper truth. Dark water has always made human beings feel completely powerless. Across Vietnam, China, Japan, and Ainu tradition, the ocean became a symbol of danger, mystery, respect, and survival. Here is one final mythology challenge. Which legendary creature was believed to carry sacred islands upon its enormous back? Was it Thuồng Luồng, Isonade, or Ao? Choose your answer now before the final truth is revealed. The correct answer is Ao, the colossal sea turtle of Chinese mythology, imagined carrying sacred islands across the ocean. Which of these legends frightened you most? Comment below, like the video, and subscribe to Dark Beyond for more.